Hi, welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. Today, I wanted to talk about self-righteousness. This is the topic that was discussed in my meeting this morning. And today, depending on the day, I have a different perspective. And today I had so many notes that I took when I was thinking about self-righteousness and listening to other people share and listen to the readings and that sort of stuff. So what we do on Tuesdays in my sobriety meeting is we read from a book called As Bill Sees It, and it's the founder of Bill is the founder of one of the founders of AA. And so this book is really cool. It has a different topic, like one word, self-righteousness, humility, like it has an entire index of words, and it has bunches of readings that are that are pulled from different literature in AA that are about that word. What does AA say about that topic? So every Tuesday we pick a new word. So this week was self-righteousness. And it's something that no matter how hard I try to live a life of humility and acceptance, it's progress, not perfection. I feel like my words are going to be challenging today. Progress, not perfection. It seems like self-righteousness just sneaks in there every so often. So I wanted to unpack that a little bit. And the first thing I needed to do when they said that's what the topic was this morning was look up what self-righteousness means. And I know what self-righteousness means, but I like to actually look at the definition, the words that are chosen to define the word, because when we start getting into these different words, and every week there's a different one, some of them can be very related to each other. So I looked it up, and it was talking about self-righteousness being an attitude of moral superiority. And I thought that was, wow, a powerful, disturbing definition, of somebody walking around feeling and behaving morally superior to others. And that means that self-righteousness is where we believe at our core that our thoughts, our actions, and our affiliations are greater, more virtuous than other people's. And it's embarrassing to think that I can be self-righteous, but as I was listening to the readings, I was thinking back to points in my life, more so when I was drinking, but still when I wasn't drinking, where I behaved in a self-righteous way. And that's embarrassing to me. The mindset of a self-righteous person is like they are intolerant of others' opinions and behaviors. So not only is my nose pointed to the sky, but I am also putting my hand in front of other people's faces. It's like I almost can picture this cartoon, and I always pick a cartoon for the cover of my podcast episodes, and I have this one like in my mind where this person is just terrible. nose in the sky and hands in other people's faces, like completely intolerant of other people. And they, self-righteous people can also, from another dimension of the definition, tend to advise other people, judge other people, scrutinize other people, um, without, I wouldn't say without realizing the damage, but without caring about the damage that they could cause to that other person. It's just like like the world was built for them. And why does this happen? Why does somebody walk around like that? Um, and I wanted to explore, why would I have ever acted like that? And self-righteousness doesn't have to be all of those things all at once. But in extreme cases, it is all of those at once. And those are um, people that I just don't want to have in my life. But when I think of why would somebody act like that? Why would I act like that? It boils down to me, and this took an hour of me thinking about this in my meeting this morning. Um, Boils down to lack of acceptance. Lack of acceptance of others. And that's where that advising, judging, scrutinizing, I don't accept you the way that you are, I'm going to change you, right? Um, Lack of acceptance of ourselves, because we are ignoring what's underneath. I'm not accepting what's underneath. So it's almost like I have to rise above it. I have to um, internally kind of rise above that truth about who I am in order to be up here so I don't have to look at it. Keep my nose up in the air so I don't have to look down at what's connected to me. Lack of acceptance of my flaws. I'm not even going to look at my flaws. I'm so great. I'm flawless. You know, that's what self-righteousness means to me. And lack of acceptance of our situations, because a sorry, a couple, I'm tripping over my words. One time in particular, I was not accepting of the position that I was in with coworkers. And so my solution was to put my nose up higher in the air than the other people. That was how I dealt with it. I could not accept the situation. So I just put my nose up higher in the air so I wouldn't have to look at the situation. And when we can't accept things as they are, we cling to control the things that I can. And I try to control the things that I can't. And self-righteousness becomes our white knuckling grip on how we think the world should be, how we can control the people, places, and things around us. So the Serenity Prayer naturally came to mind then during my thought process through this stroll through like the meaning and the whys of self-righteousness. So the Serenity Prayer asks for the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change. But somebody then who's self-righteous doesn't have that serenity, and you can see it. You can see it, you can feel it. If you're looking at somebody else who is behaving self-righteously, you can see the lack of serenity in their life. If I am acting self-righteous, I can feel that there's no serenity. I am almost not even present when I'm being self-righteous. I'm not even present. I'm on a whole nother level. I feel like like I took a step up and I'm looking down on everybody, and everybody else is living in the real world and I'm up there in the clouds. And I can't access my serenity that way. I'm too busy trying to dictate, control everything around me, including other people's behavior. And the truth is, I can't change other people's behavior. And when we try to change other people's behavior, we just create that friction because you can't do it. So we create friction and we create pain for ourselves. You know, when I am dealing with somebody else who doesn't believe the same things that I believe, I can either accept them for who they are, decide if I want them in my life or not. Can we live on the same, can we breathe the same air? Can we get along? If the answer is no, then the solution is not to put my nose higher up in the air and judge them for what they believe. You know, the answer is for me to either accept it or move on, no matter who it is, because creating that friction is only going to cause pain for yourself and for the other person. So I think that it takes practice. I wouldn't condone people just walking out of relationships because you can't get along. But what I'm trying to, I guess, convey is that self-righteousness, thinking that what I believe is better than what you believe, is just blocking your access to serenity. And I think about it from lots of different perspectives. I think about it. I think the most obvious one for me is people who believe in God and people who don't believe in God. And the cool thing is about my sobriety program is that we all exist in the same room. We all believe different things, but we're all there for one single purpose. And that keeps all of our noses on the same plane. We all have the same goal, and that is to stay sober, to live sober, happy, joyous, and free. It doesn't matter to me if the person next to me believes that a light bulb or the group itself is their higher power. It doesn't matter to me. If it did matter to me, then I'm missing the point of why I'm sitting there. And I feel like that really works in our program. That singleness of purpose allows us to come together as one body, one moving body. We all move together. That's what I feel like when I go to these meetings that I really connect with. It's like it's like the people, the network, the people in the meeting one breathing organism for 1 hour. It is like we are all figuring life out together. We're exchanging ideas, we're sharing our experiences, and we all capture what we can, and then we go out and face the world. And then we come back and we report back to each other. And if we're lucky enough, we get to do that every day. And that's what I do. I go out every day. I get what I can from the world. I also share what I can from what I learned. And then I come back again the next day and I recharge. And so back to what I was saying is when we run across people in our lives that don't believe the same things that we do and we don't have a singleness of purpose, it is nearly impossible to, it's not nearly impossible, it's difficult. It's extremely freaking difficult to accept each other's beliefs if you don't have some sort of common ground, something to fight for, something to join together on. And so I'm thinking, like, when I was at work and I had this feeling, this experience where I was behaving self-righteously, I forgot my common purpose with that person that I was putting my nose up in the air at. I forgot why I was there. I forgot that I needed that person. And once I remembered that, I was reminded of that by my boss, that we are here together and we need each other. We give and we receive from each other. It's the same thing. It's a singleness of purpose. So I think it's something that I want to explore as I continue to navigate my path in life, is when I start feeling that, because I can feel it. I can feel it creep in, that I'm starting to feel like I am somehow better than somebody else. It's embarrassing. I hate that I have to say that, but it happens. And maybe I'm just admitting it and most people don't. I don't know. But I can feel that ickiness and I stop it before it causes me to behave in a not a very nice way, you know? Um, but I would like to explore, when I have a feeling of self-righteousness, building that automatic response to be, I need you. You know, if I'm feeling self-righteous about against somebody else, have that automatic response, I need you, and figure out what it is. Why do I need you? You know, um, if you are talking to somebody who who you believe in God and they don't believe in God, and you're feeling like, well, you're wrong and I'm right. That is, for me, that is another color of self-righteousness. And I think the shift from you're wrong and I'm right can be molded, a habit can be created to change that you're wrong and I'm right to I need you and you need me. You know, it seems like a really healthy mindset shift. So it's interesting to explore that thought today. So what do we do when we encounter other people that are self-righteous in their behavior? And the answer is not to try to stick your nose up higher than them. Instead, I think for me, the best approach is live and let live. Um, I feel like this has come up a lot for me today. I even said it in my vestibular support group meeting today, and that is, my mind just went blank. What other people's opinion of me is none of my business. Other people's opinion of me is none of my business. Um, so it doesn't mean to be a doormat or let people walk all over me or make fun of me or outwardly just, be rude. But understand that somebody else's behavior does not have to affect my peace of mind. If I don't want to give you my peace of mind, I'm not going to. And I've figured that out over the past, I feel like it's been like 4 or 5 years now. There was something clicked with me, and I think it was hearing it in the program. Somebody said it in a way that it really resonated with me. And it was simply that if somebody is judging me or telling me that I'm wrong and they're right, it doesn't matter, number one. If they are making themselves feel better by telling me that I'm wrong, then fine. But my mind keeps going blank. But they can't have my peace of mind unless I give it to them. And I'm not going to do that. You can't have it. So if somebody says to me, "You're wrong and I'm right, Rachel," then my response should be, "Well, you can only have my peace of mind if I give it to you, and I'm not going to." And then just walk away. They'll be like, they probably won't even know what hit them, right? I don't have to be right all the time. And more, I'm finding out how wrong I really am. How wrong I really am. And it's been very humbling with all of this cognitive impacts I had from my stroke and whatever's going on with my brain fog related to my vestibular disorder. Simple things like not being able to finish a sentence or not remembering what I was saying or forgetting to do something. That's the name of the game these days. I make so many mistakes. I forget things. I have had to almost just surrender and say, and it's tough to look at my husband and be like, "You're probably right." And I have to mean it because today he probably is right. Before I had my stroke, I may have said, "You know what? You're probably right." But I was saying it in such a way that I was like, "We're going to have to agree to disagree." But today I have to say it honestly, "You probably are right. I probably did forget that." Because it's the honest truth. I don't want other people's egos to, excuse me, to wound me. So that peace that I hold is something that I'm not going to let go of, no matter what anybody says to me, because they can't get in there. They just can't get in. I found a way to protect my peace. And I don't know how I did it, but I will continue to try to explain it. When someone behaves in a self-righteous way, it is easy to take it personally. But the reality is that they're not treating us in any particular way. They are struggling with their own inability to access their own serenity. Their ego is blocking them from finding their peace. And that's their journey to navigate, not ours. So I've learned, and I've mentioned this before, that everyone is sick in some way, including myself, very sick. We're all dealing with our own struggles, and sometimes that manifests itself as self-righteousness. So earlier when I'm saying it's embarrassing to say that sometimes I have these feelings of self-righteousness. Well, you know what? I shouldn't be embarrassed about it because I'm human and I'm willing to admit it. If I don't sit here and admit it, then, you know, I've created this podcast on honesty. And if I'm not honest about that, then, you know, what am I doing here? Because I can't be the only one who has feelings of self-righteousness that sneak in. But I shouldn't be embarrassed about it. The key is to use the tools in my program that I've learned, respond with humility and not ego. I'm slowly learning how to be humble, slowly learning, truly humble. And I heard somebody say today in my meeting this morning, it's about who I am when nobody's looking, not proving to anyone else anything, not proving anything to anyone, who I am when nobody's looking. So my takeaway from today's episode is that self-righteousness is just another one of those things that we can name. You know, I talk about notice the feelings, name it. Well, this is just another one. Self-righteousness is another human condition, you know, and there are ways that we can counteract it with acceptance and humility. I don't have to allow, you know, allow myself to continue to try to control things that can't be controlled, right? The Serenity Prayer. I can choose to access my serenity, let go of whatever idea I'm getting in my head, my flawed head about being right, you know, wanting to be right, thinking that I'm superior in some way, sticking my nose up in the air. I can let it go and remember that I'm a part of a shared humanity. And when I'm thinking something that's going in the way of self-righteousness, instead of thinking they're wrong and I'm right, they suck and I'm better, instead I need to think I need them and they need me. And that's what my hope is, that we all can do that a little more. So thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Recovery Daily podcast. I will talk to you tomorrow.